ielts speaking part 1, where you live now. In this video we will take one complete part 1 topic card, brainstorm it out loud, and then hear a full set of band 9 model answers, question by question. Along the way I will point out exactly which words and structures are doing the heavy lifting. First, the format. Part 1 lasts about 4 to 5 minutes. The examiner checks your identity, then works through short questions on familiar personal topics: your home, your work or studies, your free time. Where you live now is one of the most common openers because anybody can answer it without preparation. Remember that this is an interview, not a speech. The examiner will interrupt you and move on, and that is completely normal. It is not a penalty. They are working through a script. And one liberating point: you cannot fail on content. Nobody checks whether your flat really has a balcony. Invent freely. What is marked is the English, not the truth. Here is the card. The first line, "Let us talk about where you live now," is not a question at all. It is the examiner framing the topic, so do not answer it. Then the real questions begin. Which town or city do you live in now? Are there any things you don't like about your area? Do you think you will continue to live there for a long time? What are some changes in the area recently? Do you live in a house or an apartment? And the second half moves indoors and then outwards to the neighbors. What is your favorite room in your home and why? What things make your home pleasant to live in? Are the people in your neighborhood nice and friendly? Do you know any of your neighbors? Is the place where you live quiet or noisy? 10 real questions in total. Notice the shape of the card. It starts wide with the city, narrows to your flat and your favorite room, then widens again to the people around you. If you can feel that shape coming, you are never caught off guard. Your score comes from 4 criteria, each worth a quarter. Fluency and coherence. Can you keep going without long pauses? And does one idea lead sensibly to the next? Lexical resource, precise and natural word choice, collocations and idiom used comfortably rather than showy vocabulary bolted on. Grammatical range and accuracy, a mix of simple and complex sentences mostly free of error, with the flexibility to shift tense and mood as you need to. And pronunciation, are you easy to follow all the way through? Your accent is absolutely fine. Unclear stress and rhythm are not. So what does a band 9 part 1 answer actually look like? 3 moves. Answer, extend, stop. Answer the actual question directly in your first sentence, in a full sentence with no preamble and no, "That's an interesting question." Then extend for 1 or 2 sentences, add a reason, an example, a contrast or a concrete detail. That extension is where the marks live because that is where your grammar and vocabulary get room to breathe. Then stop and hand the conversation back. 2 to 4 sentences, roughly 15 to 25 seconds. Go longer and you start to drift. Go shorter and you starve the examiner of language to mark. There are 2 traps here. The one-word answer, an apartment, full stop, gives the examiner almost nothing, and the memorized 2-minute monologue sounds rehearsed and actually costs you fluency. Before the answers, let us brainstorm because this is the work you do at home, not in the exam room. 2 columns. On the left, ideas, and the instruction to yourself is dig for specifics. Not "I live in a city," but Da Nang, a coastal city in central Vietnam, 6 years, moved for work and stayed. Dislikes, rush hour congestion and car horns. Tourist season pushing prices up and filling the beaches. Changes, towers along the riverfront, wider roads, and one good change, a pedestrianized promenade. On the right, language, phrases you preload so they arrive when you need them. To put down roots. A bit of a tourist magnet. Prices creep up. fairly minor gripes, changed almost beyond recognition, and a linker on the plus side. Notice that not one of these is a rare or difficult word. They are ordinary words in natural combinations, and that is what lexical resource means. Second, brainstorm the home itself and the people around it. Ideas: a 2-bedroom flat on the 8th floor of a niche block, a balcony with a view of the mountains. Favorite room: the kitchen, because cooking is how I unwind. Morning light, plants on the windowsills. For neighbors: an elderly couple on my floor, the lady who runs the coffee stall downstairs, and the family next door who take in my parcels. And the language column, compact but well laid out, to wind down and to switch off, dim and boxed in, to keep it uncluttered, to be on first name terms with someone, and a lovely one, nodding acquaintances, people you nod to but never really talk to. 2 columns, 10 minutes at home, and the whole topic is ready. Question 1. Which town or city do you live in now? Model answer: I'm based in Da Nang, which is a coastal city in central Vietnam. I've been living here for about 6 years now. I originally moved for work and then ended up putting down roots. It's big enough to have everything I need, but it doesn't have that frantic, overwhelming feel the really big cities have. 3 things to notice: I'm based in rather than I live in, which sounds more adult. I've been living here, present perfect continuous, because the 6 years started in the past and is still going. And the answer does not stop at the city name, it adds a reason and then a contrast. Question 2. Are there any things you don't like about your area? Model answer: honestly, the main drawback is the traffic. The streets get badly congested at rush hour, and the constant beeping of horns can be quite grating. The other thing is that it's become a bit of a tourist magnet, so in peak season prices creep up and the beaches get packed. But those are fairly minor gripes, all things considered. The question invites a list, so the answer signposts 1, the main drawback, then the other thing is, and then it closes by pulling back. Those are fairly minor gripes, all things considered, which stops the answer sounding like a complaint. Hedging like that is a band 9 habit, not a weakness. Question 3. Do you think you will continue to live there for a long time? Model answer: I'd say so, yes. I've built up a real network of friends here and my work is fairly settled, so I can't see myself uprooting any time soon. That said, if I were offered something genuinely exciting abroad, I'd probably be tempted. But Da Nang would still be home. This is the answer that earns grammar marks. If I were offered, I'd probably be tempted. That is a second conditional, and it arrived naturally because the question is about the future. Also notice, I can't see myself uprooting, and the pivot word, that said, which lets you answer yes and then complicate it. Examiners love a complicated yes. Question 4. What are some changes in the area recently? Model answer: it's changed almost beyond recognition, actually. A whole cluster of high-rise blocks has gone up along the riverfront, and they've widened several of the main roads to cope with the traffic. On the plus side, they've also pedestrianized part of the beach promenade, which has made it far nicer to walk along in the evening. The word recently is a signal. It is asking for the present perfect, and the answer delivers it 4 times. It's changed, has gone up, they've widened, they've pedestrianized. Notice also that vague they've widened the roads, meaning the city authorities. That impersonal they is extremely natural English and much lighter than the passive. And the answer balances itself, negatives first, then on the plus side. Question 5. Do you live in a house or an apartment? Model answer: I live in an apartment. It's a two-bedroom place on the 8th floor of a fairly new block. It's compact, but it's well laid out, and the best part is the balcony, which looks out over the mountains. For someone living on their own, it's more than enough space. This is the classic trap question because you can answer it in 2 words. An apartment. And then you have given the examiner nothing to mark. So answer it directly, then upgrade immediately. 2-bedroom, 8th floor, fairly new block, compact but well laid out, which is a far better phrase than small, and the balcony, which looks out over the mountains, a relative clause carrying the best detail in the answer. Question 6. What is your favorite room in your home, and why? Model answer. Definitely the kitchen, which probably sounds a bit odd. It's where I wind down after work. I'll put some music on and cook something slowly, and it stops me thinking about deadlines. It also gets the morning light, so it's easily the brightest room in the flat. When a part 1 question has a Y in brackets, the Y is not optional, it is half the question. Here there are 2 reasons, an emotional one and a physical one. Notice the habitual will. I'll put some music on, which describes a typical evening rather than one specific evening, and an unexpected choice, the kitchen, plus which probably sounds a bit odd, makes the answer sound like a person talking rather than a script. Question 7. What things make your home pleasant to live in? Model answer. Natural light above all. I can't stand rooms that feel dim and boxed in, so I keep the curtains wide open and I've got plants along the windowsills. Beyond that, it's about keeping the place uncluttered. When everything has its place, the whole flat feels calmer and I find it much easier to switch off. 2 structures worth stealing here. First, the fronted answer, natural light above all, which puts the key idea in the strongest position. Second, I find it much easier to switch off. That pattern, I find it plus adjective plus 2, is enormously useful and almost nobody uses it. And note the vocabulary dim and boxed in, uncluttered, switch off. Ordinary words, precisely chosen. Question 8. Are the people in your neighborhood nice and friendly? Model answer. On the whole, yes, people are pretty welcoming. There's an elderly couple on my floor who are always up for a chat in the lift, and the lady who runs the coffee stall downstairs knows my order by heart. It isn't a tight-knit community exactly, but there's a real warmth to it. Yes and no questions are dangerous, because yes, they are is a dead end. The fix is evidence. Instead of saying people are friendly, the answer proves it with 2 named human beings, the couple in the lift and the coffee stall lady who knows my order by heart. Then the final sentence uses a very high-level move, not X exactly, but Y. Not a tight-knit community exactly, but there's a real warmth to it. Question 9. Do you know any of your neighbors? Model answer. A handful of them, yes. I'm on first name terms with the family next door. We take in each other's parcels and water each other's plants when one of us is away. Beyond that, they tend to be nodding acquaintances rather than close friends, which honestly suits me fine. A handful of them, rather than some. On first name terms with, rather than I know them a bit. Each other's parcels are reciprocal possessive that learners very often get wrong. And nodding acquaintances, which is exactly the kind of phrase that makes an examiner sit up because it is precise rather than decorative. Then, which honestly suits me fine, adds a tiny bit of personality. Question 10. Is the place where you live quiet or noisy? Model answer. It's a bit of a mixed bag, really. During the day the street below is quite lively, traffic, deliveries, people coming and going, but because I'm up on the 8th floor, most of that noise doesn't really carry. After about 10 at night it's remarkably peaceful, so I've never had any trouble sleeping. The question offers you 2 boxes, quiet or noisy, and the strongest answers refuse both. It's a bit of a mixed bag, and then it splits the day into daytime versus after 10 at night. That gives you a natural contrast, a cause with because, and a lovely piece of collocation. The noise doesn't carry. Refusing a false choice is one of the easiest ways to sound like a Band 9 speaker. Here is the whole language bank in one place, and I would encourage you to pause the video here. Place and living based in put down roots, a tourist magnet, changed beyond recognition, a cluster of high-rise blocks. Home and space, compact but well laid out, looks out over, dim and boxed in. Keep it uncluttered, more than enough space. People, on first name terms with nodding acquaintances, up for a chat, knows my order by heart, a tight-knit community. Feelings and habits, wind down, switch off. I can't stand, it stops me thinking about, and I find it easier to. And finally the hedges and pivots, which matter more than any single item of vocabulary on the whole, all things considered. That said, on the plus side, fairly minor gripes, and a bit of a mixed bag. So why do these answers sit at Band 9? Fluency and coherence. Every answer runs 2 to 4 connected sentences with no hesitation, and every one is shaped. Answer, extend, stop. Lexical resource, idiomatic collocation used casually, put down roots, nodding acquaintances. The noise doesn't carry, never showy, always precise. Grammatical range, present perfect continuous, second conditional, relative clauses, fronting, habitual will, each arriving where the meaning needs it. And pronunciation, which is the one thing a script cannot give you. You have to record yourself and compare your stress and rhythm against a native model. And now an important caveat, and please do take it seriously. This Band 9 rating is my own internal quality check against the public ielts band descriptors. It is not a score awarded by a certified examiner, and no video can guarantee you a band. So here is your challenge, and it will take you about 15 minutes. Pick 3 questions from the card, and make sure you include the 2 you liked least. Build your own 2-column brainstorm, specifics on the left, phrases on the right. Then record yourself answering 2 to 4 sentences each and listen back once. That last step is the one everybody skips and the one that actually changes your score. And post your answer to question 10 in the comments. Is the place where you live quiet or noisy? I read every single one. Thank you for watching BMaster79, and I will see you in the next video.